And on the distant, parallel ridge, the dark shape was still there. I squinted. I couldn't be sure, but it felt larger, more defined, closer. I squeezed my eyes shut, then opened them again. The watch is broken. My eyes are playing tricks on me from the exertion. It's a simple, logical chain of cause and effect. I forced the panic down, turning it into a hot, angry energy. I would just run harder. I would outrun the glitch. I started running again with a frantic, furious desperation. The next few hours, the world broke. The trail, which was famously a single, unbroken track, began to defy logic. I passed a distinctive, lightning-scarred oak tree, its trunk split down the middle in a jagged, black wound. I noted it as a landmark. An hour later, after a grueling climb up a steep, rocky incline, I passed the exact same tree. The same split trunk. The same blackened scar. Panic finally breached my defenses. It flooded my system, cold and sharp. I stopped, gasping for air, my mind racing to find a rational explanation. I must have got turned around. I must have taken a branching path I hadn't noticed. But there were no branching paths. The trail was a simple, brutal loop. My own data, senses, understanding of space and time, it was all failing me. I decided to stop, to get my bearings and force logic back into a situation that had become illogical. I found a small clearing, the sunlight a welcome relief after the deep gloom of the forest. I sat on a fallen log, my head in my hands, trying to calm my racing heart, trying to reboot my own brain. I sat there for a long time, just breathing. When I finally lifted my head, I scanned the tree line, trying to reestablish some sense of normalcy. And I saw it again. What I saw on a distant ridge before was just here, standing at the edge of the very same clearing I was in, perhaps 200 yards away, and what was just a shape is now a figure. It looked as though someone had taken a tall, dead, blackened tree and twisted it into the grotesque parody of a human form. It was impossibly tall and thin, its limbs like fire-hardened branches, its body a column of what looked like charred bark. It had no discernible face, no features, but I knew with a certainty that defied all reason that it was watching me. It stood utterly, completely motionless, its posture unchanged from when I had first seen it miles away. I didn't scream. I didn't run. My mind was too busy trying to solve the impossible equation. How did it get here? Or a more terrifying thought, had I in my looping, nonsensical journey walked in a circle and ended up right back where it had been all along? Had I been running towards it without realizing it? I had to be sure. I had to apply my own logic, my own methodology. I decided to perform an experiment. I kept my eyes locked on the figure. I refused to blink. I refused to look away. My heart was a frantic drum, but my gaze was a steel anchor. For 10 solid minutes, I stared. The thing did not move a millimeter. Not a twitch, not a sway in the gentle breeze. It was as solid and still as the earth it stood on. A sliver of hope of rational explanation returned. It was just a statue. Some macabre piece of local folk art put out here to scare people. The looping trail, the GPS glitch, it was all in my head, a product of exhaustion and paranoia. I felt a wave of foolish relief. I turned my head away for no more than 3 seconds. Just a quick reflexive glance to my side to reach for my water bottle. The snap of my head turning back was just as fast. The thing was now 50 yards away. It hadn't moved. It hadn't taken a step. It was in the exact same silent, still waiting pose, but the 150 yards of dense, tangled forest that had been between us was simply gone. The space, the distance, had vanished in the 3 seconds I had looked away. The understanding hit me with the force of a physical blow. The warnings at the trailhead, beware the unwalking. It didn't walk, it didn't have to. I ran. My training, my discipline, my carefully engineered body, it all dissolved into the pure animal instinct of a prey animal that has just seen the teeth of the predator. I just ran. The forest became a green, whipping, meaningless tunnel. My lungs burned, my legs screamed for mercy, but I pushed harder, calling on every reserve of strength I had ever built. I refused to look back. The terror of what I might see, of how much closer it might be, was a physical weight on my shoulders. I just stared straight ahead, my eyes wide, focused on a future that didn't involve that silent, waiting shape. And then I noticed it. I was running, my feet pounding the earth, my arms pumping. I could feel the motion, the effort, but the trees beside me weren't moving. A specific moss-covered birch tree was just there in my peripheral vision, staying perfectly in place, no matter how hard I ran.